director. You are the producer. You're writing the script. You're the star of your life. And as you begin to look at your life, you can decide whether or not it's a smash or whether or not it's a flop. That's in your hands. Look at your life. Look at where you want to go. Don't worry about your circumstances. Don't worry about your age. I have a friend who's up in age, over 70, and she wanted to build a multi-million-dollar complex. The name is Dr. Johnny Coleman. Lenders and bankers say, you can't do that. You're too old. She ignored them. That building now stands, ladies and gentlemen, a multi-million-dollar structure. But there are a lot of people who would have listened to that. There are a lot of people that would not have even gotten to that point. They would have talked themselves out of even going down to the bank to ask for it, because they've already said no to themselves. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential, as opposed to saying no. See, 87% of our self-talk is negative. So you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to say yes to your dreams. Why not? Why not me? Don't spend time like most people going through life complaining. Don't try and get on talk shows and tell everybody how life has done you wrong. Here's what's happening in the audience. 80% don't care. And 50% glad it's you. All right? So when you know that, you don't go around cry, oh, you know what they did to me. Who cares? Get away from me before they come back. I had a friend of mine that said something very important. He said, hey, it doesn't matter what happens to you. The only thing matters, what are you going to do about it? That's all that matters. Okay, life knocked you down. What are you going to do about it? How long are you going to sit there and say, you know what they did to me? How long? Who wants to hear that racket? Use that energy to get up from there and move on and get on with your life. You got to learn to let the past go so you can grow. Many people never act on their dreams because they allow their past experiences to determine what their possibilities are. Whatever you've done in the past, that's not a reflection of your possibilities. That's just a reflection of your consciousness. That's just a reflection of your development and your growth. The future is unfolding for you right now. The future is unlimited for you right now. No one knows where you can go. No one knows what you're capable of or what's possible for you. You don't even know that. I had no idea, ladies and gentlemen. No one could have convinced me that I was able to do this. I'll never forget, I was speaking in Detroit, and a high school friend of mine saw me afterwards, and he was backstage. He said, I can't believe it's the same person. And I thought for a moment, and I said, it's not. The person you know, he's gone. He doesn't live here anymore. We have the power to change our personal history, changing the direction of our lives, changing our thoughts, changing where we want to go, exploring new horizons. So as you begin to look at this decade and affirming that this is your decade, as you set goals that will make you stretch, that will bring out the best in you, as you begin to remove the negative, toxic people from your life, as you decide to take some chances in life, and that's one of the things that's very important. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you cannot be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I'll never forget when I reached my first major goal of buying my mother that home. I'll never forget what it was like. And you're going to have this experience when you reach some major goal. When I drove up to the house and I got out and I gave Mama the key. And I said, Mama, this is for you. I'll never forget the look on her face. She said, oh my God, no one could have convinced me when I adopted y'all that this would happen. She said, oh, thank you. She said, and you caused me so many damn problems.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Les Brown, Negative People. So, you know, some nights I come here in the Village with A&M Motivational on the South Orange Maple Online Radio Experience. And the Spirit just moves you. And I had all these news prepared, had everything prepared, and the Spirit moved me. And something I said about inspiring you for a better tomorrow. And next thing you know, I'm playing all these motivational speeches. And by the way, what I do every day before I start my class is I play some type of motivational speech in the class about 10 minutes before. And last semester it was fascinating. I was playing the audio for Who Moved My Cheese, the book for Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Johnson. And this is very important, ladies and gentlemen, because if what you are doing has a positive impact on one individual, you have succeeded. You don't have to try to reach 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 people. If you can have an impact on one person, it's like network marketing. If you bring one person, and that person brings another person, and that person brings another person, it's like at one time in America there was a pyramid craze going along, whereas that you had to bring an individual and each person put up $100. And as the pyramid goes up and you get to the top, depends on how many boxes there were, when you get to the top, you end up getting $1,000. If you put up 1,000, you end up getting $10,000. Someone brings someone and someone brings someone else. So in this instance, when I'm doing these motivational audios, I was so pleased that one individual in the class said, "Professor, I've read that book, Who Moved My Cheese, and it's an excellent book." And that audio just reminded me of reading that book. So, never let someone tell you that it's not going to work. Let's get back to Les Brown and listen to this one. It's called It's Possible. Let's take a listen. This is Les Brown, It's Possible. Yes, yes. Give it a minute. We're going to get that one up for you. Les Brown, It's Possible. Okay, hold a minute, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to try to trip me up. This is Les Brown, It's Possible.
I want you really right now, once again, to start thinking about your goals and about your dreams. And as you begin to envision them, one of the things that I think that's very important that we have to always go back to, as you look at your goals and dreams, and I want you to expand them, and it's very important to realize that I found that most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they did just like I did for so many years. They aimed too low and hit. They didn't believe in themselves. So I want you right now, as we begin to think about the lessons and all the things that you've experienced and all of the comments and stories and strategies and lessons that you've had, I think it's time to revisit and look at your goals and dreams, and let's raise the bar. I remember as a kid, we would be in the backyard and we would play jump, and somebody would get on one side of the stick, my sister and then my brother, we would run and we'd jump over it. And then they say, raise it up a little bit higher. We have to back up and we would run and we'd jump over it again. And then we'd say, raise it up a little higher. And the higher it got, we had to begin to change our approach and how we were going to get get over the bar. And that's the same thing in life. And so right now, I want you to think about your goals and dreams as you begin to raise them a little higher. And I want you to say with me, it's possible. It's possible. You know, the easiest thing that I do is speak and train people how to speak. Go into prisons and juvenile detention centers and to high schools and colleges. Speak before thousands of people. I can do that in my sleep. Let me share with you the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. And it took me years to do. And that was to believe that it was possible. To believe that I can do it. Given my circumstances, born in an abandoned building on a floor, being adopted, being labeled educable mentally retarded, failing twice in school, no college training, never worked for a major corporation, to believe that I had something of value to say, that somebody would want to listen to me, to believe that somebody would pay me to talk to them. Have you ever thought about something you wanted to do? And you talk yourself out of it? I remember going to see Zig Ziglar, who I consider the #1 motivational speaker on the planet, and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale when he was alive, and Robert Schuller. I used to see them, and I would be so pumped up and inspired after hearing Jim Rohn, who recently passed, one of the great motivational speakers of all time, and Charlie Tremendous Jones. And I would go to my car pumped up, saying, yes, 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 I can. And then after a while, my mental conditioning would kick in. And it would say, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't even know who your parents are. Les Brown, you can't do that. You failed twice in school. Come on. You ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talk yourself out of it? There's a proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. That's why it's important that you make it a point every day to review these lessons, to get them deep, not only in the conscious mind, but the subconscious mind, and get them in your spirit. Well, how often should I do it? Do it until you are producing the results. That's how often you should do it. And you never stop, because once you stop, that's when those negative thoughts will come back. Once you stop, that's when you will begin to doubt yourself. Once you stop, I'm telling you what I know. Yes, every day it's a selling job on you. It's possible. I can do this. I can make this happen. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. It's possible. Yes, your dream is possible. Say that to yourself every day. Feed your mind with words that you write and words that you hear and words that you speak to yourself. Feed your faith and your doubts will starve to death. Say to yourself, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Even when you have no evidence to point to, say to yourself, it's possible. There's nothing as powerful as a made-up mind. It's a struggle sometimes to do that, especially when you have people around you telling you that it's not possible, that you can't do it. And they're constantly pointing out your failures of the past, constantly reminding you of all of the things that you don't have going for you. I'm reminded of the story of two little boys that were playing on some ice during the winter. And as they got further out on this ice, one fell through the thin ice, and so the little fellow that was still on top of the ice, he was trying to save his little buddy, and he couldn't reach him. He was trying to pull him. He could see him through the thin ice as he got further away from him, struggling, and he couldn't reach him, and he was trying to break the ice, and he couldn't do it. And he looked around, and he saw a tree in the distance, and he ran, and then he got up on the tree, and he pulled and broke down an enormous sized branch, and came back and savagely began to beat that ice and broke it, and miraculously he saved his friend. And when the paramedics came and they were able to revive this little boy, they were scratching their heads. They're trying to figure this out. Said, how could this little pruny fellow go up in a tree and break off a branch this size and then come back and beat and break the ice and save his friend? They thought it was just miraculous. It was baffling. And an old guy who was there said, I can tell you how he did it. And they said, how? How did he do it?